All right, this is Ubaid on behalf of Electronics, and in this video, we'll be looking at the theory of asset liability time mismatch. All right, so we have asset liability, okay, time mismatch. Now, what this theory basically says is that banks, for example, let's say your banks that you deal with, okay, when it comes to mortgage products, when it comes to credit line, okay, when it comes to line of credit, when it comes to personal loan, so on and so forth. When it comes to all these products, the banks that you deal with, okay, may experience some kind of a time mismatch when it comes to raising interest rates, lowering them down, as a result of which they may lose money and eventually go bankrupt. Okay, so when it comes to inflation, okay, during an inflation, what ends up happening is the central banks, as well as the banks that you deal with for mortgage products, for okay, line of credit, personal loans, auto loans, so on and so forth, okay, may increase their interest rates. Okay, we've talked about this in the past, where because of the monetary policies, your interest rates go up. Okay, and the organization that's responsible for these monetary policy in the US, for example, would be your central bank or the Fed. Okay, and because these interest rates go up, you have a contractionary policy where okay, the economy shrinks and may go into a recession. So you have a contractionary policy. And because of this contractionary policy, spending goes down, consumption goes down, consumption goes down, and savings go up, investments go up. All right, so because these savings and investments go up, okay, what's going to end up happening is if the banks, if they don't raise their interest rates based on current market conditions, okay, let's say there's an inflation in the economy, and if they don't raise their interest rates, just like all the other banks, okay, the consumers will go somewhere else when it comes to making deposits, when it comes to using their savings account. Okay, so banks, if banks don't raise their interest rates, okay, consumers go somewhere else. Okay, they might go to another bank that's offering them a higher interest earning when it comes to your savings account. So higher interest. Okay, so higher interest payments. All right. Now, if the banks do raise their interest rates, consumers get what they want. But okay, you have to consider that the bank can raise their interest rates right away when it comes to savings and other investment products. Okay, however, when it comes to loans, when it comes to line of credit, personal loans, so on and so forth, when it comes to business, okay, banks may have a fixed contract. Okay, so banks may have a fixed contract. So let's say banks lose money, banks lose money because they have a fixed contract fixed contract, okay, for products like mortgage products, mortgage loan, you have line of credit, okay, personal loan, so on and so forth. Okay, so again, the asset liability time mismatch has to do with banks being able to raise their interest rates for a liability, okay, such as their savings account that you have with your bank. Okay, this is something of a liability because banks obviously pay interest, okay, for your savings account, right? So every deposit earns an interest in the savings account. However, banks may not be able to do the same, may not be able to raise the interest rates based on market conditions, based on inflation, based on uh, current market conditions and current events. Okay, if okay they have a fixed contract. Okay, when it comes to your mortgage, when it comes to your line of credit, okay, as well as personal loans. So this fixed contract may have a fixed interest and a fixed term, as a result of which they won't be able to raise the interest rates right away. It may take about 5 years, 6 years, okay, for them to raise their interest rates, okay, for certain consumers, for businesses, for people who they deal with, right? So, apart from that, this is Ubaid on behalf of Electronics. Have yourself a great day.